Hello, everyone. Yay, we're live. I cannot believe that we are here today, Kate Fisher, to speak about this amazing project that is Milkshakes for Marleigh. And, it's really exciting, and we want to just happy dance for a moment, don't we?
Oh, so exciting. It's so nice to finally have it out in the world.
Isn't it? And this is a very much anticipated book. I've never had as many emails in the pre-launch period for a book ever in my life, but your book is it, because the ripple effect is real. Your mission is real. And before this was a book, it was and still is a podcast. So for those people who don't know about Milkshakes for Marleigh, can you do what you do best and share your mission with them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am the founder of Milkshakes for Marleigh, which is a blood donation advocacy movement. It has started as a podcast, and today we're launching the amazing book. Our daughter Marleigh is dependent on blood products to survive. So since the age of 3, she's been having treatment for a condition called autoimmune encephalitis, which essentially means that her immune system is wrongly identifying her healthy brain cells as foreign and attacking her brain. Unfortunately, it is life-threatening and there is no cure, but treatment is possible through the use of intravenous immunoglobulin infusion, which is made from donated human plasma. So as a mum wanting to keep their child alive, I really recognised the persistent critical blood shortages in Australia. And so many people don't realise that. You think how many times you've scrolled past a headline that says critical blood shortage, and we just don't realise that not enough Australians donate blood to meet the supply of what we need, and that so much of our blood is imported from overseas, and that 1 in 3 of us will need blood in our lifetime. So I identified the problem of not enough people donating blood, which is what I needed to keep my baby alive. Started telling her story, and then realized the magic and the power in storytelling for people understanding how important it is to give blood. We did 3 seasons of the podcast. I've told over 70 stories of other recipients, blood product recipients, through the podcast. And the idea was that, if you've ever been a blood donor, that's such an anonymous thing. You go and make your donation and you don't know where it goes or what it does. But if you've ever been a blood donor, you can listen to the podcast or now read the amazing book and wonder if you were the one who saved, prolonged, preserved, or improved the quality of life of one of the people who is detailed within this book. And it really shows that blood donors don't just keep people alive, it keeps families together. And these extraordinary stories of survival can be giving someone the gift of a whole lifetime. Marleigh will be dependent on blood products for her whole entire life. Or it could just be giving somebody the quality of life of an extra few days to say goodbye to their loved ones who might be returning from overseas and have that opportunity to say goodbye, or, improve that quality of minimal time they might have with their loved ones if they're undergoing cancer treatment or something like that. So it's such a testament to the incredible people that have shared their stories within this book. And I thank them all so much. So much of them will be watching this today. So to have trusted me with their stories and to all now be part of the Milkshakes for Marleigh community and this blood donation advocacy movement.
Oh, there's just so much for us to talk about here, like times in lives where you can donate blood, there's times where you can't, but when you
Absolutely.
can, it's not for us to judge, but please do, because you've motivated me to make sure that I regularly donate blood. And when I donate, I will be sharing pictures about it, so maybe I will inspire somebody else to do it.
Absolutely.
And it is about keeping the conversation going, Kate, and sharing your stories and being open and planting that seed with another person, because that one action that you take will change somebody else's life, may save a life. Can you just share for people who are oblivious and have maybe never given blood before, what's the procedure? How long does it take? How long does it take for you to for your blood to come back into, because obviously we create the blood again. Can you
Yeah,
share some of that
absolutely.
with people so that we're
So the way, if you are based in Australia, the way that you would make an appointment is to contact Lifeblood. So jump on their website is the easiest way to do it. That way you can register your details online, especially if you're a person that's not sure if you can give blood or you've previously been told that maybe you can't give blood. You can jump on there and they've got like little questionnaires that you can do. You register your details through there. If you're a new donor, I would love it if you would join the Milkshakes for Marleigh Lifeblood team. That gives us a way to track the impact of this work and these donations. And in the last few years alone, telling Marleigh's story has saved the life of over 5,000 Australians. And that's something that I think that's probably why people identify with this community so much, because they can really see that real life difference that they're making.
So you the website address there for you.
Yeah. Thank you. So you register through Lifeblood, either call them or get online, whatever feels more comfortable for you. You'll have an appointment time and you'll go in and you'll have an assessment done. You usually book in for a whole blood donation the first time, but there is other options. You can also donate plasma or platelets as well in future donations. And they will usually let you know what they're in the most need of in your state or area on that day. Lots and lots of women, particularly menstruating women, postnatal women, feel that they can't donate blood if their iron levels are a little bit low. But since I have been in that phase of my life, I donate plasma instead because you get that return. So it takes a little bit longer, but you bounce back a lot quicker, and you don't have to worry about taking an iron supplement or something afterwards. So one of the fascinating things about doing this work has been there's been lots of people who have donated when they were younger, had a break from donation, thought they weren't eligible to donate anymore. But when they've gone back and had a look, they actually have been. So, and even if you're not eligible to donate, you can still join the Milkshakes for Marleigh movement and be part of this blood donation advocacy. And that can be as simple as following Milkshakes for Marleigh through Instagram or Facebook. Share one of those posts that remind people, pop it in their social media feeds about donating blood. Share this video today that we're making, buy a copy of the book would be amazing, and gift it to somebody. The stories in it very much are reflective of some of the guests that we've had in the podcast, and any of our podcast listeners would be familiar with the documentary standalone format of each of those episodes, and that's very much the same as what's in the book. And they're designed so that when you do a blood donation, you're usually at the Lifeblood Centre for up to an hour, but the donation itself, sitting in the chair, usually takes around 10 minutes. And the chapters are designed that you can read one of those stories while you're doing that blood donation, and you can really feel that impact of exactly what you're doing. And, sit down for 10 minutes, save up to 3 lives just by coming in and doing. And if you only ever do one donation, you've saved the life of 3 fellow, humans. And, there's no cure for autoimmune encephalitis. When Marleigh was at her sickest, we've had lots of times in pediatric intensive care situations where we have had to say goodbye to her, and they've told us she won't survive the night. At her sickest, she was having seizures that were lasting up to 39 hours. She turned 8 last week. And we have said, she's been having this treatment now since she was 3. So that's 5 bonus sets of birthday candles that she has blown out, thanks to Australian blood donors. And no amount of medical science or, treatment or healthcare or any of that stuff could save her life. There is no cure for what she's going through, but it is the kindness and the humanity of the strangers who rolled up their sleeves and have donated blood for the last 5 years that have kept her alive. And, I say to people, if I speak in big groups, it's a bit harder online, but, look left, look right. If there's people sitting either side of you, either you or one of those people will be dependent on blood products within your lifetime to preserve your life. And only 1 in 30 of us ever go and make a blood donation in Australia, and it's just not enough. So Milkshakes for Marleigh is my creative solution to that social problem.
Yeah, and from a mum speaking to another mum, I know, like in a split second, your life can change. Like one of my daughters she has type 1 diabetes, and that has a profound impact on your life. And there's no cure for that. It's managed. And it's the same for your beautiful daughter, and a mother's love and your passion and your mission that's fueling not just for Marleigh, but also for others, so that others, and that's what I love about mompreneurs like you. And I show up for story every single day, and I want to be part of the Milkshakes for Marleigh's story. By showing up, rolling up your sleeve, you get to be part of that story, or even sharing this, buying a book, just keeping the conversation going, being part of the story every single day. Keeps this to the forefront of people's minds, because we have to keep talking about it, and you have some amazing supporters behind your mission. Can you share some of them? One of them I'm happy thinking about.
Absolutely. So Trent Dalton at the moment is at the front of everybody's minds. I think anybody who got swallowed up in the Boy Swallows universe phenomenon, and Lola in the Mirror that he's just had come out. So he's another fellow Queensland author, and he's got right behind this. I think the power of storytelling is something that he's so familiar with in addressing, substance abuse and homelessness in Australia and that social inequality, and has used the power of storytelling through partially fiction, some of it's based on his own life, to bring those issues to the forefront of people's minds. And, his good mate, Hedley Thomas, who made the biggest podcast in the world, has, with The Teacher's Pet and everything he's gone on to do so far, he has come in, and he's such a supporter as well. And these are people that are lending their voices and their support to this project because they know that it will have such a big impact on, people, not just in Australia, but people all over the world. Blood can't be made. And that's something that lots of people don't know, and Marleigh was at her sickest at the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic and during the bushfires that ravaged, Australia at that time. And so many people couldn't get to blood donation centres. And we've had time where we've had to prolong her treatment for longer than we've needed to, or to transfer to a different state for her to have that treatment. I don't ever want another mother or another family member standing in a room with their loved one, just putting every hope and prayer and everything out into the universe in the hope that an anonymous stranger goes and makes a blood donation that will save their loved one. And I've experienced that in real time. And when Marleigh was at her sickest, we couldn't preserve her life for longer than 10 days at a time. So we lived in a 10-day cycle for 19 months where we knew that we could keep her alive for the next 10 days with the treatment that she was having. But after that, we couldn't prolong her life for longer than that if not enough people donated the blood that she needed to make the immunoglobulin infusions that were stopping her body from attacking her brain. And it's just such an incredible thing. And people have said, you have so much going on. You know what we're like as mums, though, that, we have so much going on. But I think anyone would know that if this was the only thing that was keeping your child alive, you do everything within your power to go out into the world and make sure that that treatment was available for your child. And so as much as I'm an author and an advocate and all of those things, I'm also just a mum that's just trying to keep her kid alive. And I think that's why we have such passionate members of the Milkshakes for Marleigh community. And it's been such a highly anticipated drop of the book. And it's, because people identify with it so strongly. And I know who my 1 in 3 is. Yes. But no, lots of people on this call don't. And I hope that when you find out if you or your loved ones are 1 in 3 of us that will need those blood products, that Milkshakes for Marleigh blood donation community has made sure that there is enough blood available to treat or support your loved one.
Oh, the beautiful work. I just want to, everyone's clapping. I can feel the round of applause in the background.
I'm just a little bit passionate about it.
Please don't ever stop, because it has a ripple effect. We feel it. We want to be part of it. We want to take action and take that time. Yes, we have busy lives, but go and fill up your karma bank and go and give some blood today. Go and get a nice cup of in a biscuit
Oh, look,
afterwards.
a milkshake, Karen, a milkshake.
Yeah, oh, milkshake.
Go and get a milkshake for Marleigh. And,
Exactly.
as busy mums, I think too, I've really encouraged people, particularly the plasma donations. You're often there for an hour and a half. And so when we had little kids or had, Marleigh was in hospital a lot, I'd use that as an opportunity to catch up with a fellow mum who I wouldn't normally get an opportunity to talk to without, a kid running around my feet or being interrupted or whatever. You get to sit there for an hour and a half and have a chat and have some time. And whether that's read your favorite book, watch some trashy TV, sit there and just scroll on your phone and zoom out and know that you're doing something incredible for the world while you're doing it. And I think that's why we felt the ripple effects now of this movement through the world. It was very much founded as an Australian-based project, but we've got so many podcast listeners all throughout the world now, and we've even seen with those early book sales that they have been going to all different countries in the world and been requested from lots of different places. So, I'd encourage people to get in quickly and try and get a copy because we sold out that.
And in your actual blood donation center, request that they get a copy of this book
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or donate a copy to them so that people can get inspired and know the good that they're doing there. But I am going to challenge everyone watching this, whether you're a woman or a man,
yes,
get your best buddy on board and go and have an hour and a half and do something wonderful and spend time together. Make it something wonderful, a memory something that you do regularly, and let's do goodness into the world, honestly. Right, let's do that. Let's see how many people we can get pledging to do that. I know who I'm going to be tapping on the shoulder. We have Tara Corder here. So is so proud of you, Kate, Marleigh, and the whole Fisher family. These stories in your book are inspiring and uplifting and will change the life of so many people. Proud milkshakes for the Marleigh team, plasma donor right here. That's it. People are passionate about this. And
they are.
Back into the family. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well done, Tara. Amazing.
Yeah. It's very special.
It's so special. What do you want to say to those people who are on your team, Kate?
Oh, look, I probably shared more about the life of our family than I would have ever expected to online. And of course, we always do that to a point. I protect everyone's privacy as well. I am a mum at the helm of a family with additional needs. So any one of my children or I could also need those products at any time. So just, thank you. Like, it's the little things that really get me. Marleigh's so excited that she gets to go to school. And she said for such a long time, I just want my labels. And we had thought that they were book labels, like on the front of, school books. It was that she wanted to wear a uniform. She wanted to put on a little school uniform like her brothers and like her friends and go and have a normal childhood where she got to go to school. When she goes and does yoga or she does dancing or she's, swimming with our other children in our pool at our house or having a run on the beach, it's those moments that Australian blood donors are gifting people. And the focus in the book, people will find very much is not on the injury, illness or trauma that the recipient has experienced before needing blood products. It's all the amazing things that they get to go on and do with their life that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to do. And, that can be anything from watching your children grow up to professional, feats, volunteer work. We've got some amazing para athletes that are within the book and different, sporting achievements. And I've tried to write it in a way that I've captured so many different aspects of Australians and Australian life, and that you can pick up the book and you can see yourself somehow reflected within that book. And it's the kind of thing you don't have to read it cover to cover. If you can pick it up and you can find something in there, because it's all short stories that you feel yourself reflected with or you can connect with, then hopefully the book does its job. And
ready to feel the feels, people. Be ready to feel the feels. Honestly. It's wow. It should be like, I can see like a docu-film, a movie, something about this visually to accompany the book. So I just really feel that passionately.
It would be amazing. And to be able to capture that too, I have seen the way that having those blood products has literally brought my child back to life. But to be able to share that with people in real time, you know, would be such a magic thing. My little brother today is having a bone marrow transplant. He has lymphoma. And I watched him have 7 blood transfusions in 36 hours just before Christmas. And we wouldn't have had him on Christmas Day had those blood donors not done that. There's no way that he would have survived that. But to be able to sit bedside with him and watch that product literally go into a vein in his arm, and then be able to spend time at Christmas watching him sit in a lounge room with his 2 beautiful little girls, you know,
the things that people
shout it from the rooftops, because as soon as people see it, they understand it and they book straight in and they make a blood donation. But then, you know, having been a mum that spent a lot of time in children's hospitals, I'm very aware of the fact that I got to bring Marleigh home, but lots of the people that I was with on those wards didn't get to walk out the front doors of those children's hospitals, you know, with their babies in their arms. And people will see in the dedication to the book that there is people named in there that, you know, I wish that blood products had have been enough to save those little people and those big people. And, you know, we keep doing this in honour of those people.
Yeah, well said. You're such an amazing, beautiful advocate, very passionate, and the journey that this has brought you on into the hearts and minds of so many people, and you continue to do so, and I know you will continue to do so, but we will all be joining you on the journey. I just want to share with people, if you're watching in Australia or across the world, how easily you can get this book. This is our nice landing page just for the book. So we're going to be adding in lots of more links, but here's some links. Kindle will be active this evening, and we're going to do a nice campaign over the next few days to get that to number 1. But this beautiful page, look at, there you are. That was you at the first copy, wasn't it, Kate?
It was opening the book of the very first copy that was printed. We talk about within this process, we talk about the glimmers and the things that we celebrate. And there's another photo that's on there of my nearly 95-year-old granddad, who requested the very first copy of the book. And I think that's a beautiful testament to the way that it translates across people's lifetimes. You know, there's premature babies that we've talked about within this book, and, you know, people that have had blood products while they're still pregnant to bring their babies into the world, all the way through to, you know, my beautiful granddad at 95. So although I held the first copy, he now owns it, sitting in his lounge room on the south coast of New South Wales. And no doubt we'll be with him today.
And this is your beautiful family at your book launch.
Yeah. So that's my beautiful children. So there's Thomas is the oldest one, Campbell standing there next to me, and Marleigh is next to me there in the black shirt, and that's my sister-in-law Suze. So it's her husband Jake, my little brother, who has the lymphoma, and his 2 little girls there, Evie Kate and Abby. And, you know, we all got to spend time together at Christmas time. You know, just looking at that family picture there together, there's thousands of blood donors that have made that happen.
Yeah, and you're all smiling because in that picture, because people have shown up and gifted blood.
The gratitude, absolutely. And that's what this is, you know. Essentially, this is a love letter to the blood donors that, you know, have kept my family together. And I didn't know until I wrote the book and I actually pulled my medical records and did some research that I'm actually a blood product recipient. I was born premature. I knew my mum had had blood products after she birthed me, but I didn't realize that I had received blood products as well. And so, you know, that Christmas time that I was talking about, had blood donors not given the blood that my mum needed to stay alive, and that I needed to stay alive 40 years ago, because I turned 40 this year, there would have not been my brother and my sister that have gone on to do the remarkable things that they've done with their lives. And it's that wave, that flow-on effect, as you said before, it sort of starts as a ripple and now it's turning into a tsunami when you realize the impact it doesn't just go on to have with the individual, but then the things that they go on to do with their life. And that's what I've really tried to capture within the pages of this book.
The generational dots, you know, just all coming together. You can see it all there as to, and like, you can't even imagine in 20 years where everything will be, but you have to be very present in the now and do what you can now, so that in a few decades time, or even a year's time, that this, you know, there's more blood, and you know, it just, as you said, it doesn't, you can't just create it, you have to create it. It's amazing.
Yeah, blood
So,
can't be made. And that's something that really surprises people when you say it out loud. I think we're so used to different pharmaceutical interventions being able to pop a pill and, you know, that Western medicine idea of the fact that we can just fix things through medicines. And that is absolutely true in so many cases. But blood can't be made and you can't synthesize it. There is no fake version of it. It can't be replaced by anything else other than the kindness of a fellow human to donate it.
Yeah, amazing. So we are wanting to get this book in as many stores across Australia. This coming June is when it does our trade launch. So Paribo Distribution is our distributor. They are so looking forward to getting this book into stores. So go and ask and request for your stores to stock this book and to be part of the mission. Get your shelfies when it comes into stores. And I'm sure, Kate, if you see it in a store, you're going to pop in and secretly sign them for people. So that
absolutely. And look,
yes.
We had an incredible one yesterday that I spoke at an event of corporate blood donors. Their organizations give them time off each, you know, a couple of times a year to be able to go and donate blood instead of making a financial donation to an organization. It's through their workplace giving program, and they purchased books for the blood donors that they have within their organisation as a thank you present, to thank them for the time that they have taken. And, you know, buying a book like this is such a small investment for some of those big organisations, but the gratitude that those employees will feel and, you know, that ripple effect that we're talking about is amazing. So, I really hope people can get behind it in that way. It makes an incredible gift because apart from the whole blood donation side of it, it's just an incredible book of Australian stories.
Yes.
The spirit of the Aussie and, you know, the challenges that people face in their lives and then go on to do remarkable things is something that I hope that I've really captured as well. And I think whether you have a connection to blood donation or not, it's just a great book of extraordinary tales of survival.
It 100% is that, exactly. And it's just so inspiring, like that you can see that this book is a legacy project. Like this is now out there, it's going to be around forever. And people can be part of that story. Oh, I remember whenever that happened. Tara says, great idea from sharing my local school mums about Marleigh. We have now organised our next school mummy coffee date. We're having a plasma date and a milkshake. There we go. There's one.
I think that sounds like an invitation to maybe come along to Tara Corder's coffee. I think that might be a nice idea. And that's the other thing too, is if people are watching and they have book clubs or they have different events that they, you know, might like me to speak at and tell part of our story as well, get in contact with me because I'm absolutely happy to do that. You know, this is bigger than just, you know, selling books. That's another tool of my blood donation advocacy movement. So please get in contact with me because I'd love to be involved in whatever it is that you're doing. And, you know, even if that is a group of mums that are going together on a coffee date, the amount of lives that you have, you know, potential you've got to save lives of other Australians is massive. So, yeah, get in contact with me through the Milkshakes for Marleigh Instagram page is probably the easiest way.
Beautiful. And share that fun and vibe and energy because we know
Yeah.
what it's like to get together. Share it online so you can inspire other people to do it as well.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I love it. And it just goes to show that out of adversity can come the most amazing things. And Kate, I want to say thank you to you, who is the driving force behind this, for making such a difference and an impact. And I'm sure you get gratitude all the time. But it's just, you make such an amazing impact, and you're doing it for you, but for your family, but also for everybody, creating this huge awareness. It's just it's amazing. So just before we go, can I ask you, how was it writing a book as opposed to doing a podcast?
Look, I think a podcast, so Hedley Thomas describes it so beautifully in the interview that I did with him, and the fact that podcasts are the theatre of the mind, and that there's something that you can listen while you're driving or putting your washing on the line, or you can have it run alongside, like parallel to something else that you're doing in a day. I think there's a different intimacy that is created when you read a book and you have more time to sit, you can read it at your own pace, you can absorb it in a different way, you can go back and revisit, you know, a sentence or a comment or something that has really resonated with you. And by having your own voice projected through it and what you imagine, I think it allows you to connect in a different way to the stories, rather than having it served to you in a way that it would be in a podcast. So, and, you know, we very much wrote the book in response to so many people saying that they wanted it in a book format. Not everybody likes listening to podcasts, and so many people that have requested the book are retired. They're maybe not, you know, familiar with that type of technology or comfortable using it. And I don't know, having it written down in black and white and words, it's that legacy item that you were talking about. It makes it feel like it's more permanent. And when I started Milkshakes for Marleigh, it was to thank people who had kept Marleigh alive, but I certainly didn't expect her to have survived the 5 years that she has. And the reality is she's in remission at the moment. She's doing beautifully. She'll be dependent on blood products for the rest of her life, but she could relapse tomorrow. And we could be back where we were. And this is a life-threatening condition. So when I started it as that legacy project to thank people for giving us more time. And I just, she's incredible. She's phenomenal. And once we tour this book a little bit more later in the year, people will get the opportunity to meet her and just see our family together, because that's the gift that people give. And we will get some of the people along that are within the pages of the book to come to some events later in the year as well. So that's the other thing. If there's particular people within the book, or if people have got another story that they want to tell, I am looking for guests for the next season of the podcast at the moment, and we will try and capture some more of these stories in the future in new versions of this book. So let me know what you want to read in the next version of it, because it's magic, and it's making a real difference in the world.
It is. Absolutely. And that's the thing. You have audiences in all different types of mediums. There's podcasts, there's visual, TV, all the kind of stuff. But when I always say that whenever someone's reading your book, you have their full attention. They can't be distracted by anything else. And reading a story and absorbing it and really living with that person through those words is profound. And you can jump back into it fast. You can bring it with you. You can read it on a train or whatever it is. You know, you can just. It's so accessible. We're going to give a kudos to Brett Power, who said he's at Chatword tomorrow, giving plasma. Thanks again for your help spreading the word. To my company, Kate. You are always inspiring people. There we go.
So Brett and I go way back. So he was one of my uni mates. But that's a beautiful example of he got me to have a chat to his organisation and thank them for giving blood and encourage them to make blood donations through their workplaces. So thank you, Brett. That was a beautiful comment to leave. And Brett's been a very long time blood donor, and that's really inspiring.
So inspiring. Right. Last words. What do you want to say to people? Get out and get this book.
Thank you to Australian blood donors. And that's what this has always been about. And, I am so grateful to be able to capture that testament of the human spirit and humanity and kindness. And to start with, when I started talking about this, our tagline was nothing feels more like mateship than rolling up a sleeve and donating blood, platelets or plasma, and that product going on to keep another Australian alive. All Aussies know the value of mateship and how much we look after our own, and those ripple effects are now spreading all over the world. So we're looking at it in a slightly different way now. But please grab a copy of the book. As I said, if you can't actually donate blood, just become part of the Milkshakes for Marleigh community and part of that advocacy movement, and engage through social media, share this video with somebody. And I would love to see some selfies of people reading it. I've had some incredible feedback from people, over the last couple of weeks, if they managed to get a book out of the first print run. It's just incredible. So proudly be a member of the Milkshakes for Marleigh community, because that's how we make the magic happen.
Yeah. And books are rippling out. They're floating away like on stalks out to everybody at the moment, which is wonderful. And one thing I want to say is shout out to Stacey Webb, who introduced us.
Amazing. Yeah.
Beautiful. You guys met at the Osmompreneur Network recently last year, and we went on the journey. And thank you for choosing me to help you, because this epitomizes why I show up every day. I show up for story, and this epitomizes that. So I am very passionate about getting this book far and wide. We have a lot to do, and we are going to have fun doing it.
We're going to have so much fun doing it.
Thank you for sharing it and with us and for giving us
look, I've said to you before, it is an absolute honor to have the Pink Zebra as part of your stable of authors and to be part of it. And, you know, you and I have talked before that we understand that power of storytelling, and I can't imagine my book being anywhere else other than under the KMD brand. So thank you so much for what
a gorgeous cover. Kudos to Dylan. And it's gorgeous.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Thank you to everyone for watching. Don't forget to share and go to www.kmdbooks.com/milkshakes for Marleigh, where you're going to find all the links. We're going to keep that page updated with this interviews on there, other interviews, and lots of things. And if you send us in your selfie with the book, like even if it's a digital copy later on today, send us that. You could find yourself on that page as well. So thank you so much, Kate Fisher, for joining me today, and congratulations on the launch of Milkshakes for Marleigh. Let's celebrate. I want to get party crackers going. Let's celebrate by organizing those milkshake dates, guys, and grabbing your copy and getting your selfies for us.
Yeah.
Take care, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.